Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cut to the Chase Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Chase Shantz. To my right, got Matt Ricketts. Matt, what's going on with you?
What's up, fellas? Big Buckeye victory. It's just great feeling to be a Buckeye fan right now.
Got that right. And the man that's down at Ohio State right now, Brady King. What's going on, Brady?
Not much. Pretty much echo what Matt said. Great day to be a Buckeye. Awesome win. Yeah.
Yep, these two guys are actually going to be at the next Buckeye game. That's actually in Madison, Wisconsin, the Ohio State-Wisconsin game on Saturday night during Trick or Treat at 7:30 p.m. on NBC. It'll be 6:30 Eastern during the Central Time. We're going to have some special guests on tomorrow as we talk about some of the coming up week 9 games, especially that Ohio State game. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to us on YouTube. We did do a small post-game reaction. It was literally like an hour after the game, and there was a lot of stuff going, a lot of beer flowing through Matt and Scotty. But, we're calm now. We're cool and collected. Let me just ask this. Have you guys gotten a chance to just go back through and watch the highlights and everything? And how I'll give you a tougher one. How would you describe the game in one word? I'll start with Brady.
Yeah, I have gotten a chance to watch the game back, and the way I would describe it is dominant. There was no Penn State was not close to winning this game, and that's exactly what you want to see.
All right, Matt. One word as you're a wordsman, you tell yourself. How would you describe this game?
Dominant was a really good one. Maserati.
Maserati. All right.
Maserati, and we know why.
Indeed,
the way that we were able to move Marvin Harrison around on offense, just slot outside, like just moving him around all the time. This is fucking sweet. I loved it.
Yeah, you got to love it. I mean, Kyle McCord, 286 yards passing, a touchdown. Obviously, I know a lot of stuff, was yards after catch, but there are a lot of yards after catch from Maserati Marv, 11 for 162 and a touchdown. Did the Saquon celebration after he scored the touchdown to, really put the game on ice. Great performance by him. The offense, talking about the run game, wasn't great when it came to yards per carry, but it was able to just milk that clock and, do damage slowly but surely. But obviously the big reason why we won this game was defense. I mean, who would have the game ball on defense on Saturday? Matt, I'll start with you.
Wow. Probably JTT, like I would say. He probably had the best game, I guess. I mean, but dude, it was just everybody. I mean, it was just a total defensive effort. But JTT got after the quarterback, had a sack, and he just was rushing the quarterback very well. So I would give it to JTT if I had to pick one guy.
All right, Brady, I would assume you might say the same thing, but if not JTT, who would be the next guy on that list?
Yeah, since Matt said JTT, which was a good pick, I'm going to go over to another guy that I think will be on that same level of deserving. I'm going to go with Jordan Hancock. Switched outside. So for these other games, he's been obviously playing slot corner in the nickel, and him and Sonny have been rotating there based off of down and style of team that we play against. And, he's a natural corner. So with Denzel out, instead of starting our true freshman corner, Jermaine Matthews, we start Jordan Hancock alongside Davison Igbinosun. And every pass thrown his way was either broken up. Unbelievable game in the run game. He had 2 tackles for loss, just shooting gaps, and on Nick Singleton. And just a great job by Jordan Hancock. I mean, the whole DB unit as a whole. Jermaine Matthews was amazing. Igbinosun was great. The safeties, but Jordan Hancock just had a couple special plays.
I mean, when your defense holds a team to 1 for 16 on third down the entire day, and Drew Aller, at one point he was 10 for 30, finished 18 for 42. I mean,
yeah.
Got to give all the credit in the world to the pass defense. Only held Penn State, who was obviously, again, a top 5 offense when it came to, passing and rushing. They only gave up 26 rushing attempts for 49 yards, 1.9 yards a carry. So, I mean, the defense did absolutely everything in their power to shut down Penn State, and they did a great job and came away with a huge victory on Saturday. You know, I'll ask this before we move on to just a couple other games. What's the next steps for Kyle McCord? Because he's obviously going to get the spotlight put on him because he is the quarterback at the Ohio State University. You know, there's a couple of games on the schedule that are, we got to go on the road against Wisconsin. We got to go on the road against Rutgers, but there's, obviously the game that we're looking forward to is, November 25th against Michigan. But, what exactly are we looking forward to in Kyle McCord and his progression week by week to that day, Brady?
He's just got to make the routine throws. Although on Saturday he didn't lose us the game, which is exactly what needed to happen. He didn't lose us the game. He tried to, maybe one play. We all know what play it was, but he didn't. We didn't need him to, go out there and light the world on fire, and that's not what happened. Exactly what we need to do. But there are throws that he needs to make. He was very nervous. You could tell he was missing throws early to Marv. Marv should have been over 200 that game. There was like 3 plays he was cooking people up down the sideline. Kalen King was lost out there. I mean, it was bad. So he just needs to make some more routine throws, and he needs to continue to do so. And once he can start doing that consistently, I also think Saturday showed, especially with all the missed opportunities in the red zone, that this is also one of the best offenses in the nation, which we all know when it is clicking, because we have the best skill group in all of college football, especially even without – we played the number 1 defense in America without Emeka, who is the second best wide receiver in America, arguably, and without Travion Henderson, who, when he's clicking, is our best running back. So I just think that's very impressive.
Now, Matt, I'm going to slide it down to you. Great analysis there, Brady. What are you looking in with Kyle McCord week by week leading up to the Michigan game, obviously bearing any setbacks? What are you looking forward to from Kyle McCord?
I just want him to take care of the fucking ball. That's all I want him to do. I just want him to take care of the ball. That's it. I mean, when he got that strip and they ran it back and we didn't know there was a penalty, I was losing my mind. Every single series, I was yelling out, take care of the ball, Kyle. Take care of the ball. Don't do anything fucking stupid. Our defense is too good.
That sucks when we have to yell at our quarterback every drive.
If Kyle just takes care of the ball, we're going to win every game if he takes care of the ball. Our defense is that good. Yeah. So if he just doesn't fucking turn it over, we're going to be all right. So that's it, really. I mean, obviously there's throws he missed. There were some drops too. Uncharacteristically from Marvin, there was one he dropped. I mean, but he's got to be better. There's no doubt. He did thread the needle on a couple passes. Like, he's just very inconsistent at times. He puts him. Carnell Tates was wide open. If he leads him in stride early in that game, it's a touchdown. We're fucking. I mean, so there's sometimes he looks really good. Sometimes he looks really fucking bad. So he just needs to take care of the ball.
I think this team is built similar. Like, I think this team has similarities to the 2019 team. But before you guys react, what I mean by that is we have a workhorse on offense. J.K. Dobbins was in 2019. Marv is this year, a clear guy that we want the ball in their hands. And on defense, we're built through our defensive line and our secondary. We're built using those 2 groups more so than our linebackers. Except I wouldn't say, our D-line is not as good as it was in 2019, and our secondary isn't either, but they're both right there with them to make it similar to that team, but just downgraded, obviously. But the good thing is –
what about our quarterback that year?
Our quarterback is not as good as it was in 2019.
But I'd say this is old. I mean, obviously he wasn't born at this time, and you have a better receiver, but you also who know at quarterback 0-2, man. I mean, the way that is, run the football, like don't just protect the football and then have your defense win you the game. Like it's old school football, but if
we just can't run the ball as good as we could then.
Yeah, exactly. If old school football is going to win you the game, man, I mean, regardless of what the stats look like and everything, I mean, if you're winning every single game, you're going to win a national championship if you win every single game. That is factual. So, obviously I think the identity of this team is shown right now, and that's completely fine. If that's going to be the key to success to win, games down the stretch, maybe some guys, they're going to step up and everything coming up in, these big games. But, if this is what the identity of Ohio State football is going forward, so be it if it gets you a national championship game, and a title.
Oh,
so
fuck it. Yeah. Just win every game.
I'll take
that's
it.
how it is. Yeah. So
As long as Cade Stover keeps playing the way he is.
as Cade Stover is a matchup problem, as we all know that.
He is.
Now there were a couple of teams that were, had some struggles. Actually, they ended up winning their games, but they had some struggles. Number 5, Washington barely beat Arizona State. They won 15-7 in a really weird game. Obviously, coming off of a very emotional win against the Oregon Ducks. Off a missed field goal, high scoring game, and they were back at home and just did not look good on offense whatsoever. They still ended up getting a victory. Very odd game to watch. UCF took Oklahoma down to the wire. It was a 2-point conversion that was the difference in that game. Oklahoma survived 31-29 against them. Texas also survived. Quinn Ewers is out for a couple weeks. He just they just came out with a report that he has an AC sprain, actually AC joint sprain. He dealt with the same thing last year too. So just not good luck on his fortune. So obviously Texas still trying to make their run at a Big 12 title. North Carolina lost to Virginia. They're virtually out of this thing. I mean, losing at home to a team like Virginia, that's
they're out.
Obviously going to set a bunch of things back. And then we'll, look at a couple of the top matchups. Alabama was down by 13 to Tennessee, 20-7. And then Bama goes on a 27-0 run and beats the Volunteers on the third Saturday of October, 34-20. I forget who was saying this Saturday, because me and Matt ended up watching the game with Scotty and a bunch of, good friends of Matt. Who mentioned this, that team is not similar to Ohio State 2014, but just like similar path where it's like they lost the game at home and then they're trying to, kind of got written off and they're trying to win all these games. Like, what do you guys think of Alabama so far? I mean, bouncing back and they've had to deal with some adversity and everything. What do you guys thought about Bama?
Personally, I would say it's the worst Bama team that I have ever seen. Like when I think about it, but no, I agree with whoever said that in the sense that they lost the game at home early, week 2, and have had to battle back. But is the ending going to be the same? I highly doubt it. I just don't think they have the players they usually have, and they still have great players. Don't get me wrong, but even last year when they lost those 2 really close games, they still had Will Anderson, they still had Jahmyr Gibbs, they still had Bryce Young, they still had the talent. It was just it wasn't really clicking. This year, when you look on offense, I don't think there's a first-round pick there. And you look on defense, there might be 2 first-round picks on defense, but Alabama offensively has been so good recently that I'm just not sure that they're there because and the thing I found out about Tennessee is they're just a losing program.
Yeah. I think we've realized that. Shout out to our friend Logan Box. He actually posted on his private story the video of Matt that I took.
He did post that on his
He posted that. That was funny as heck. But yeah, Matt, Jalen Milroe, Alabama. Sorry,
Marcus didn't have any reaction.
He didn't have it. Yeah. All right. But Matt, Bama, what do you think of Bama? After they after the Texas game and how they've somewhat bounced back from that. Is he going to start talking?
We can't hear you.
I think they're going to win the SEC and make as good as what they have been.
Oh,
can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, we can hear you. All right, cool. So you think they're going to make the playoffs? Okay, cool. If they control their destiny to it. So, obviously Georgia, without Brock Bowers and everything, who knows? It's open. It's open season in the SEC, to say the least. Looking down the line, Duke lost to Florida State 38-20. Florida State, number 4, they're still undefeated. This game was, it was Duke's game for a while, 2017, going into the fourth quarter, and Florida State just went on ahead and took over. Jordan Travis, 268, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Ran the ball 62 yards and a touchdown. We'll obviously keep an eye on Florida State as the season goes on. Utah takes down USC again. Caleb Williams does not know how to beat the Utes. It was a very, very entertaining game to say. Not much defense whatsoever, but very entertaining game. Caleb Williams' stat line, 24 for 34, 256 yards. He had no touchdowns, no picks. He had the rushing touchdown took the lead, but he had absolutely no passing, touchdowns, interceptions, nothing. Just a very weirdly clean slate on that board. USC's done out of it. They're cooked. It's kind of funny to see, honestly, especially with the Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams package deal talk that's been coming out. This is stupid as heck. Stupid as heck, man. Lincoln Riley wouldn't last a freaking year as an NFL head coach, man. Don't hot take about that, but yeah. And then the Michigan State game. Obviously, we knew Michigan was severely better than Michigan State. Big brother versus little brother in that game. Paul Bunyan, 49-0. Looking at the, JJ McCarthy, 21 for 27, 287, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Not a whole lot to say about that. Just, Michigan State's really bad at football right now. So, just looking around at the rankings as well, nothing's changed. I think the top 6, 7 have changed. They haven't changed at all. There's not really a whole lot of shifting. Obviously, the rankings are going to come out here, not this week, but the week after. Going to be very big to see how the committee has looked at things and how they value and grade other teams and everything. Obviously, if you're looking at, the 2 best wins in college football thus far, it's been Ohio State. If you're looking at the best win in college football, would it be Ohio State at this point?
Probably Texas barely because they were at Alabama. But it's also, honestly, our win at Notre Dame might be our best win just because I still believe that Notre Dame's a top 10 level team. They just played really bad against Louisville. And I still think Penn State's better than Notre Dame, but we had that game at home. Yeah. So we probably have the 2 and 3 win to me. I think we have the second and third.
Oklahoma's winning over Texas too.
Oh yeah, that
was a good one too. Yeah.
I will say this: I do think Texas a little bit fraudulent, so that's kind of why I kept that out of it and put the Bama win ahead of it. But for sure, yeah.
What's that very hard about Alabama? They got to be fraudulent too.
I know. I just think they're.
It's hard to judge.
Yeah, I just still think Bama's better than Texas. I know this
whole thing's hard to judge. You look at it. Georgia's 1, Michigan's 2 in the AP poll. Both teams haven't played a soul this year. Ohio State has arguably, you could say arguably one of the best, obviously 2 of the best wins in college football if you want to rank it 2 and 3. And then Florida State's up there because they're undefeated. Same with Washington. Oklahoma arguably has the best win in college football. Texas is right behind them, arguably the best win in college football. Oregon lost to Washington on the road off a missed field. There's and then Alabama's up there at 7-1. Penn State lost to us. It is such a tough thing to sort out in this top 10. And I'm going to ask you guys to take, not a shot, but, what do you think the committee's rankings are going to be on the first release, 1 through 4? I'm going to start with you at the bottom, Matt.
I want to go with Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia, and Washington.
All right. Brady.
I'm going to go Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, Washington. So really close. Because usually the committee has shown that they change it up from the AP poll. Like they just don't look at the AP poll and say this is exactly what we're going with, the way we're going with it. They start to resume has to matter. So I don't think there's a debate on who should be the number 1 team. It's Ohio State. I mean, they got the best resume in the country. So, I think I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I think I'll go Ohio State. I'll go Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia, Washington. I'll go with Matt on his. Did you have the same thing, Brady? I don't even know. There's so many.
I put Georgia ahead just because
Put Georgia at 2.
I don't know. I went back and forth between that because Michigan and Georgia both haven't played anybody, and Georgia just because they're the defending natty champs. And they're an SEC team. We know how the committee feels. You know how everyone feels about that. So, although obviously I do think that Michigan is better than Georgia.
Yeah. So I mean, there's going to be a lot of moving pieces. Obviously, it's only week 9. There's still a whole month left in the season, and then conference championship weekend. Going to be a lot of good football coming up, especially looking at the Pac-12 and Washington's scheduled. Of course, their schedule is, I mean, it's absolutely brutal in the month of November. They literally play, I believe, they play 3 ranked opponents in a row. Obviously, you could argue that USC should even be ranked at this point, but that can go without saying. And then
USC,
the 24, yeah. But then you look at Oregon. This Saturday they're taking on Utah on the road, and then 2 weeks from now, 2.5 weeks from now, they got USC, and then Friday, Black Friday, 8:30 on Fox, they got the home matchup against Oregon State. So it's going to come down to it's going to be nail biters. That's going to be an absolutely great weekend for the sport of football. From Thursday all the way through Sunday, Monday night. Obviously, Saturday is going to be the huge day there. Can't wait for that. We still got a month until that time frame. But you guys got any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Excited to be at Camp Randall Saturday. Matt's not going to make it there. He's going to be in my basement, locked up in that one room.
That's really weird.
With tape on his mouth. Yeah,
okay.
Matt, just wanted to let you know in front of everybody.
That's really weird, but all right.
Yeah, this weekend's going to be great to be up in Madison, and fuck you, Bucky.
Over under the amount of times Matt says it. What's a good line to set?
Well, when is he like? What do you mean? When?
Fuck you, Bucky.
Does it have to be just on Saturday?
Game day?
Okay.
Game day.
The whole day. He's going to say it at least 17 times, I'd say.
All right. We'll keep it like that. All right. For that being said, Matt Ricketts, Brady King, Chase Johnson. See you guys next time.